You are listening to Pharmacy IT and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Hey everyone, this is Tony Dow, and welcome to another episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. As with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intended audience for this episode are newcomers to pharmacy informatics. So last week we gave a brief introduction about migration paths. So for this week, we will be going over some more detail on what it entails. So let's review what a migration path's purpose is. Again, it's a tool that's going to be used to address the needs of a project or, of the healthcare institution's needs in terms of the health IT product and its functionality. So it helps with finding out not only how the IT department's role will be, but also talking about the human factors involved. So some things include identifying a logical path to achieve the new product implementation, establishing the realistic goals for the change and how to monitor the benefits, providing a framework for all the IT projects, and establishing priorities, and understanding dependencies and avoiding siloed work, and emphasizing the importance of operational and functional elements of the product as it links to IT. So let's get into some of the examples. So the first example of a migration path model is the Gartner EHR generations model. This model is used for EHR implementations, and it defines roles through a breakdown of functions. It's something that was developed by the Gartner Group, which is one of the many consulting firms involved with developing these types of models. They break it down as the following roles. So data collector. The EHR serves as a data collector because it collects information, either from, entry or from scanning in information. Documenter. This is the EHR's functionality to help the provider at the point of order entry or helping the clinical staff at the point of care. There's also helper, which is how the EHR is serving as a clinical decision support system for the EHR and provider. The colleague role is when there's more complex decision support that references outside databases. Basically, this is database-driven interruptive clinical decision support. And then finally, the role of mentor. This is where the EHR can serve as a guide for the provider in advanced decision support, such as using data to apply predictive modeling and helping the provider with a well-informed decision. So the Gartner Generations does a really good job of breaking down the roles, but one of the things is that, it doesn't really highlight the dependence between the different parts. So let's look at another example. Another example of a migration path was released by the public policy research publication called Health Affairs. And this migration path, is designed for implementing a new health information exchange system. They also break it down into some of the different roles as follows. So there's one role that's the non-electronic data exchange. This is where information in the HIE are being transferred through paper or voice transfer. Machine transportable data, this is when there is transmission of data that's not really standardized. Machine organizable data, this is when the messages being transmitted are structured, but they're still not standardized and it still requires interfaces. And then we have machine interpretable data. This is transmission that contains standardized and coded data for fully interoperable information. So those were just some examples of migration paths and migration path models. But another thing to note is that the concept of having data become information and then being transformed into knowledge. We talk a lot about data, but how does that data become information and how does information become knowledge? So just a review, data is just raw facts, raw figures, and raw variables. Data needs to be processed. Whether it be by humans or machines, doesn't matter. It needs to be processed into a form of information. Processing means that the raw figures and raw facts are put together and create some sort of meaning. Therefore, they become information. And once this information is available, one can add additional evidence or even, experiences to create formal knowledge that will be used for clinical decisions. And migration paths outline the process of not only bringing in a new system, but how that new system takes data, processes it into information, and creates knowledge. Alright, if you guys like this episode, you can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme, or Instagram at PharmacyInformatics, or by emailing me at tony@pharmacyitme.com. And I also wanted to plug a great networking opportunity called Pharmacist Connect. If you are familiar with Microsoft Teams or Slack Workspace, think of Pharmacist Connect as a large vetted one through Slack Workspaces. I've met some great colleagues on it, and there's even an informatics space within it as well. You can find out more by visiting pharmacistconnect.com, which is PharmacistConnect.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. And remember, technology is the tool, patient care is the goal.